Welcome back everyone to part 2 of the Sbd-5 Dauntless build. We're going to be doing the interior painting, so let's head on over to the spray booth and take a look. Well, hello, I'm back. I just started painting some of the pieces. I got everything that I wanted to have glued onto here. I actually went and glued some of these pieces in on the side of the plane. So I think it would make a much easier, a nicer glue fit. And looks like we could actually do that, so I did. I mixed up my green. I did, what colors did I use? Go grab them. These are two colors, and sorry about the running fan, I hope you can hear me. These are colors I used on my Klingon Katinga. This was an accent for the feathers that are on the wings. This is a Delta Creatives, and this is their leaf green, and then I used Deco Arts honey brown, mostly this, a couple drops of this, because as I was looking, their green kind of has a brownish in it. I mean, just looking at what I've seen from other people, some of the planes, actually photos of the planes, I've seen them being even in the browns more than green, but you know, what ones of these planes are left, they'll pretty much do whatever. You know, and it depends. There was a Marine Corps version, there was 2 different Navy versions, and I'm sure there was multiple versions of it. But I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. And then I'll do some things with maybe just this green, which will just to give it different contrasts, like some of the cushions or some of the little high parts. But I didn't glue those other parts in there. I'm going to glue them in next, because like I said, I want to be able to hand paint some of the stuff I know that's going to be like fully green, and I'm just like, this handle will probably have like I think this gets silver, this gets a red spot on them, those two, this I can't remember, it might as well, you know, and I might hit these with an aluminum color, but I'm not sure. So, let's get the paint. I'll let these dry so I can see if I need another coat. It's like most areas I will, but it's not going to matter too much because there's going to be all kinds of washes done. But this also, gluing those on there, allowed me to know what's going to be seen. Most of this down here is not going to be seen with the guy in there, but I still want to be able to, if you look in there, you can kind of maybe see it. So, and I'm hoping I'm getting the paint back in there. It looks like it. But yeah, there's going to be some washes and some rust, some silver and brown. So, not a big deal. And the nice thing is, it doesn't matter if you overspill. You know, I don't know how much of that gets shown, because here's the seat for the pilot. Looks like that's all you're going to see, but I hope that's lining up over there. I have it the way they show it, so I guess what we do is we come down like this on that piece. Yeah. So I gotta make sure there's enough room. And there is. Okay. Better check now, or it's way too late. So let's get this floor done. I probably should tape it to the floor, but they did. I mean, this makes it easier to spin it around. like I said, a lot of this is not crucial. Got a little heavy in that one spot. I think I needed to thin this paint a little more. That's okay. It's a military plane, doesn't have to look perfect. And it's an old military plane. Like I said, we're gonna weather it. That's the one thing, nice thing about doing Star Wars models. They're all beat up. So any little happy accident, you can make happen work. It had to be kind of nice for the model builder. Try to shoot up in there. Make sure we're getting in all the little cracks. I'm really amazed how well this covered in a first coat. And it's kind of a heavy first coat. I don't know how much of that back wall we see, but remember, I got little parts that I gotta do. Set those aside. Go grab those little parts. You're probably gonna blow all over the place. There's a lot of little ones. And they are gonna blow all over the place, so I'm gonna need some tape. All those little parts are gonna be all over the place. Some of this stuff clip onto this, or should I use this? But those sticks are really high. That's one thing I didn't like how they designed it. Those sticks are like way up there. I really should be using alcohol, but I don't have any right now, so alrighty. Quick stir. I notice she's kind of spitting a little bit. How do I want to do these? I know it's going to blow all over the place. it dry for a minute. Now you can actually see the detail, but when it dries you'll really see it. Some of these flat ones will be terrible. We'll get on get a piece of tape. These I have to paint all the way around, so this doesn't get painted all the way around. This has got to get painted around. These ones that are going to be up against the wall, we can put a piece of tape down. Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, now we're spraying. I can probably turn the pressure down too. What do I do? Set that. Down here. There we go. It's not crucial because I'm not. I'll get a finer mist. But I think those are good. Like I said, with all the washes and the scratches I'm going to make it look like, it doesn't have to be perfect. A little bit of that gray bleeding through doesn't hurt anyway. So yeah, I'm happy with that. The nice thing about acrylics is they dry fast, so you can kind of see. Like, it looks really bright there, but it definitely darkened, especially being over top of the gray. Maybe give it a quicker mist. Or the more paint that's spraying better. Yeah, we can go set her aside. These we're going to have to hold on something. This and that. With it spraying better. I'm able to get into the cracks better. And around stuff. Won't see much up in there, I don't think, anyway, but just in case. I'll let that dry. Yeah, these guys here. Should get the blow dryer. We'll do this. How come I always see a bug in here? And they'll always find their way to your parts. Stick them down. Stick them so I should have tied this to the Lazy Susan. Then I can spin it. I can still do that. I think I will. Because the back sides don't really matter on that. Let's transfer this. Actually, I got space to spread this stuff out. see if I can do that. I doubt it, but it's worth a try. This is a pretty sticky tape. It works. Get out of town. This I'd like to grab because I think you do see some of its back. Maybe not, because it's pretty blah back here. But these, you need to kind of hit everywhere. And I couldn't glue it into that because they go through those. They go through these little hoops here on this, so I couldn't glue them on it. Maybe this we can, and then we can flip it over when it's done. I mean, the boxes are going to get black anyway, so that's not really going to matter. Yeah, the only real thing I'm going to try to get green is these bars. So, that's true. The little controls are I'm going to do black, so. Hey, that's working. The only reason I didn't glue this piece down, these levers, is because I think I'm going to do these areas here down at the bottom where the levers go in. I think I'm going to do them black or an aluminum. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to do them black, and then there's one that looks like a piston that I'll hit with the aluminum or steel, you know, to make it look metal. And you're blowing all over the place, you guys. Should have hit these with a black and then did the green. That would already give you shadowing. I do that a lot with the Star Wars stuff. You get shadowing and edges. I did that with the Falcon a lot. You do a black and then you do or the Death Star, or the Star Destroyer that I did, the small one, Bandai. And then you do the black and then the light gray. And you just mist the light gray over it lightly, and then the edges seem to, you can see the darkness, and then the panels, you get those panel lines and stuff, you know, self-made just for painting. Yeah, that's looking really cool. Like I said, this we only really need to hit the bars. But I think some of these here, these little cases, I'm going to do just in the green without the brown, just to give it a contrast. Some of these things are going to get black, but it's just nice and easier. But but there's some levers that I want to do silver with red handles. That's why I didn't want to glue it to the hull like everybody, seen everybody else do. Works. Now it looks like we will have to hit the other side, but since this is a color I mix, you gotta make sure you mix enough. I thought about it, I want to do the canopies, and I saw a trick on what a guy did. He masked off the canopies with the masks that they give you with the kit, and then he hit the canopy with the green, and then he did the navy blue. So then from the inside of the pot you see the green, you know, instead of actually trying to paint the green from the inside. The masks already kind of give you that illusion. That's brilliant. I never thought about that. Are you dry enough that I can give you a coat? I think so. So that's what I want to do, but I can come close to what this is. It was really, I really filled just pretty much the entire bottom of that, just up a hair, maybe a half a teaspoon, and then I did 4 drops of the brown, so I can get it close enough. Wondering if that's supposed to be there. I guess so. Just a weird looking thing. I don't know why they made this clear part. I was, like I said, was going to backlight it. Well, boy, that would have been tough to try to match those little holes, so. I'm glad I didn't decide to light it. But other than that, I'm not sure why they made it a clear part. Just had space on that sprue, I guess. And they're figuring out their sprue spacing. But then this is going to get black. That panel is going to get black. That panel, I don't know if I'm going to do the whole box. I think I'm just going to do the panels. And that panel is going to get black. But then it'll have the green in between, which looks good. That's why we'll do the green first, and then we'll just hand paint the black. Put the old decals in. I've seen people just do the entire thing black, but from what I'm seeing from reference photos of the actual plane, it's just the panels. There's green, you know, that's holding the panels that they sink into, or this box sits on. So I think it looks cooler. That's going to look better this way. Make sure I got everything. But that's it as far as the green parts, I think. Need any extra coats? Like I said, I don't need to go crazy with these. A little bit of the gray coming through gives it a weathered look. And how's this looking? Really nice. And the nice thing about gluing those parts down, and I use that real thin medium cement so it doesn't show. And these tiny little pieces will glue on better. And the paint seals up any weirdness. Can't remember if I stirred that blob I dropped down in there out of there. It's one thing with acrylic paints, these craft acrylics, you gotta make sure you thin them right, but I learned a new thing about using alcohol, and it will dry quicker. And it thins it a lot nicer too. Especially if you're taking your time, and like I said, you gotta clean the guns out right away, which that I know, and that I always do. Let's double check these. What we call them. Oh, and I gotta do those parts. Yeah, that looks good. It's much more different in how bright it is once it dries, and being on a gray background. It's looking good. What am I gonna hold those with? Because all of that's gotta get seen. That's the hardest thing, is everything on that part gets seen. I mean, and mainly it's going to be like facing like this. So I could put it on a piece of tape like that. And maybe I will real quick, and then pick them up. Getting started. There we go. Beautiful. And being that this is acrylic, I can touch it up by hand and it levels out. The thinner I make it, the better it'll level out. And I might not even hit that much more, just to give them a different contrast. Yeah, and then I'll leave that like just like that. The only parts in it aren't really getting painted at the bottom of those poles and those tips, and those tips get glued into there, and I don't know how those parts sit, but I can always, I don't even think you'll ever see it, to be honest. Very good. This is key though, I want to make sure this is good. This is your focal point of the cockpit. Another light mist. Top edges. Yeah, I wish I would have thought about doing those canopies quick, but like I said, I can match that. That was a fairly simple color combination. And it could be a hair off. You're not going to really notice it's going through plastic clear anyway. But that's an easy match. What I can do is make a swab of that color and put it on something. And that's what we'll do. then I can keep taking my new color and hitting it on something. Actually, this would be a better area to do it. Right there. Then I can take the new mix and lay it right next to it and see if it matches. It'll have to dry because, like I said, it'll dry a shade darker. But that's it. She's looking good, so next time I'll have all these things and I'll start hand painting them and I'll show you how that all looks. So until next time, let me shut this off. That's better. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for these to dry, get them glued in together. You know, well, I'll actually hand paint those first. Might even do some pre-weathering as far as. No, I can do a lot of that when it's glued into that, and get in there with the washes, and get in there with the. I'll probably do the washes on this first. Maybe make some of these pipings look more, you know, hit them with the silver from the powdered weathering stuff. The I can't think of it right now. But anyway, we'll do some weathering, get these all painted, and then we'll put them in. Gonna probably paint them first and then put them in and then do the washes. So it's got a wash all together. Get these panels black, and then that's good. There's a little radar thingy, or whatever, sight thingy, I guess, or something that goes in that little slot. But I better get cleaning this brush out. But like I said, until next time, this should be all together and weathered, and I'll show you how it looks. All right, thanks for watching.